Well, y'all ready?
Yeah, man.
Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain.
You're listening to another episode of Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and John.
Well, good morning. Good morning, Earthlings and locally hated truckers. I'm Chuck. This is John, the world's youngest Gen Xer, and we're back for another action-packed episode 153 of Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and John.
Yeah.
There has been a lot happen over the past week, and if you haven't heard about it, you're probably living under a rock or
Yes.
not on any kind of media, which you probably wouldn't be listening to this show if you wasn't.
Yeah. And we're probably not going to say anything new about it.
No, we're idiots.
So don't come here for a new and improved opinion on
No.
anything that's transpired.
We are just observing. We are observers of American and world societies,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just a bunch of goofy mechanics that have a podcast, and occasionally we make a good joke. And we match today.
We do kind of match today, huh?
Twinsies.
We got solid shirts on. I don't have the chain, though.
You need a chain.
Yeah. Well, I got my Nashville Sounds hat on. I was in Nashville.
Hey. John, tell us about your weekend, man. It looks like you had a blast.
Yeah. So spent the weekend in Nashville with my dude, Zach. And he and his wife, Erin, just showed me the best time, man. We had an absolutely fantastic time. They took me to all of the big spots. Like, as much as a non-drinker can enjoy Nashville,
Yeah.
that's how much I enjoyed it. Okay.
Did you
Like,
get any live music in?
no live music. I'll admit, no live music. But,
Okay.
I mean, what I did do was pretty freaking cool. So
Okay.
I leave Friday morning, head out. Well, I say Friday morning. It was Friday afternoon. It was my
It
morning
was
time.
your Friday morning.
Yeah. So head out Friday afternoon. I stopped at a Jack's in Fort Payne. Shout out to Jack's. Never done that before. Never eaten at a Jack's.
What'd you think about it?
I really enjoyed it. It was delicious. Mine was great. Yeah, fantastic. Huge shout out to the Jack's in Fort Payne.
I felt like the ones I've ate at have just been like average,
Yeah.
but it has been a while.
I was pleasantly surprised, man. I figured a Jack's in the middle of nowhere, like there was no way this was going to be good, right?
Yeah.
But I had never eaten at one before, and this was going to be a trip of firsts for me.
Well, it's got to be good because there's nothing else there.
Yeah, there is not much else there. I think there was a Wendy's, maybe.
They got one in Barnesville.
A Jack's?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. You know what? I did notice that there was only old people in there besides me.
Yeah, it's definitely like that old school Hardee's crew.
Yeah.
They got crinkle fries, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's what I had. The crinkle fries, man. But
That's
yeah,
probably
big shout out to that.
my third favorite French fry.
Really? What's
Yeah.
the first two? I got to know now.
I'm a waffle. Waffle fries are my absolute favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Good curly fries.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I gotta put it in number 4.
Because of McDonald's.
No, I don't like McDonald's. McDonald's fries are okay. Let's see. So it would go waffle fries, curly fries, a good hand cut fries would steal the skin on it a little bit, and they're kind of soggy,
Uh-huh.
and then crinkle cut fries.
So do you like the turtleback waffle fries?
What's that?
Like the end with all the skin on it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I really,
Where
especially if you get a
it's
big
not
one.
all the way through.
Right. Oh, those are so good.
You like those.
Yeah, they hold.
Those are my
ketchup very
least
well.
favorite of the waffle fries. I hate
Well,
those.
You're just wrong.
No, the turtlebacks are wrong, dude.
No.
It looks like a little turtle shell. I don't like it.
Yeah. So do you not we're totally off subject. Do you not like those little baked potato skins like you get at TGI Fridays?
Okay, that's different because it's loaded with like cheese and bacon, a little bit of green onion on there, and you can dip it in some sour cream. That's different. Yeah, potato
Okay.
skins. I'll eat just
So
potato
that's
skins,
different.
and they're a little crunchy. Like I feel like all those turtlebacks are way too soft and just can't do it,
Anyway,
man.
let's get back to Jack's.
No, we're moving on from Jack's.
Oh, we're moving on. Okay.
Yeah,
I have
that was my only stop on the way up there. I took the back roads through Alabama, actually through Carrollton, and then right by our buddy Kevin in Tallapoosa. I went up that way through northern Alabama, and then kind of through Rome, all of that stuff. And that was a beautiful drive. I'm so glad I went that way as opposed to going up 75 and 285 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I went the back roads there and got a beautiful scenic drive, man. Jack's was my only stop. My buddy, he told me to and so Jack's was my only stop. I went up, that was halfway, and then made it to Nashville, and immediately he gives me this hat, and he's like, we're going to a minor league game. We're going to a Nashville Sounds game. And I was like, sweet. So we loaded up and went right to the ballpark.
So did you take minor league games are so much fun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you take, so you got on the interstate, like on 59 right there, right?
Yeah. Just for a section. And I went under that beautiful railroad bridge, which is kind of freaky. Go ahead.
And then Lake Nickajack.
Dude, when you come up elevation to a lake, it's the oddest feeling. It's like, when do you ever ride uphill to a lake? You know what I'm saying? We always go downhill because they're always in flooded valleys. You know what I mean? Like that's where we dam some creek or river up. That's how we get lakes over here. But up there, it's like, yeah, you're going up in elevation to a lake. It's the oddest feeling for me when I did that, like going into Tennessee and all that.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful out that way, man. I love the ride. You stay in the mountains for a long time.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You stay in the mountains for a long time.
You got to go over Mont Eagle.
Yep.
Did you see the band?
On the way back, I hit a bunch of sightseeing stuff, so we'll get to that.
Okay.
But on the way there, all I did was hit the Jackson Fort Payne just for another first. You know, this was going to be a trip of firsts, and I had never had Jack's. So,
yeah. What did you have? A hamburger?
Yeah, bacon cheeseburger with the crinkle fries, and the crinkle fries were good too.
You've had Whataburger, right?
I have.
Is Jack's better than Whataburger?
Oh, that experience at Jack's was way better than Whataburger.
There's going to be some haters for that. For sure.
Hey, whatever, man. The Whataburger sucked when I went there, man. It really did. It was nothing to brag about. It was like,
I'm sure there's others who will disagree and we'll probably get canceled in Texas anyway.
Well, okay. This brings up another thing. How long was that line wrapped out into the highway? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it stayed out the parking lot into Highway 34 forever.
I'm still
for
not even
months.
Sure where the Whataburger's at over there.
Oh yeah. You got to get pretty into Noonan to find it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna go find it.
You should go try it. It's worth trying so that you'll know.
Well,
maybe it's better now that they've slowed down a little bit. Okay, I'll give them that. Yeah. Maybe it's better now that it's slowed down, and maybe they can catch their time. You know.
Okay, so Nashville Sound.
Yeah, man, we went to the Nashville Sounds game.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Had a great time. Minor league baseball is so much fun. But these were affiliated teams. So the Nashville Sounds is affiliated with Baltimore, I think.
Okay.
And so the Baltimore Orioles, I'm pretty sure. And then they were playing against the Iowa Cubs, who's affiliated with Chicago, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really cool. So these guys were playing for spots on the team. There was one mystery pitcher, dude. They did not put his name up on the board. Nothing like that. he was throwing the best pitches we saw of the whole night. He was like gassing it, like 97 miles an hour. He had a nasty cutter. It was weird. It was so weird. Like I was wondering if he was someone famous, but
Okay, so he's either someone in recovery coming back through, or he's somebody on his way up and they don't want to tip their hat.
could be. But they didn't say his name. They didn't put it up on the board. Nothing. And this guy was dealing, dude. But anyway, had a great time at the Nashville Sounds game. That was a lot of fun. They took me to a cigar lounge that I cannot remember the name of, but big shout out to them because we hung out there till like probably 1 a.m. just stuff, having a great time. I kind of me glimpses of what Nashville is like and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Seeing what they call woo girls up there. So there's a lot of woo girls. So
Woo girl?
yeah, they describe these girls as wearing the cowgirl boots, and they're always woo.
Yeah.
So got to see a lot of the woo girls just sitting at the cigar lounge. You see a bunch of those walking by. I don't know. That was a fun little introduction to Nashville right there. Going to the minor league game and sitting and chilling at the cigar lounge for a little bit. It was really cool.
Cool.
Waking up the next morning, though, we did all the things. My buddy took me to all the guitar shops and music shops. We started at Eastside Music. They're really cool, man. They had just some really cool vintage, like it was a small mom and pop music store, and they just had some really cool old vintage stuff. I think I sent you a picture of like the old piano or the keyboard and stuff like that. The
keyboard and some guitars, and then you sent me the picture of the one that everybody had signed.
Yeah, I don't even know what that was.
Okay,
but it looked cool, and it was in Nashville, so I was like, I'll take a picture of this and pay attention to it later.
Somebody's famous on there,
right? So it started out at that little mom and pop place, and then we went to Drum Supply, which was
cool.
It was strictly drums. It was drums everywhere. I got to play a kit that was set up in there, and just kind of chill for a second and oogle everything. Can you imagine the drummers that have come through there, right? Like who they're playing for and all that stuff. Like this is the Drum Supply store in Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah. Drum supply stores aren't like guitar stores.
Yeah. They're not a dime a dozen.
Right.
Yeah. So they sold me this awesome, I have it hanging up now. Let me get out of the way. It's called a tune towel. And so it's got magnets on the corner, and like you throw it up on your drum and it can change the sounds, it can muffle it, and then you can fold it over. It'll muffle it some more. You can fold it all kinds of ways. And just as long as the magnets are sticking, you're good. It's not going to go anywhere. And so like, it's a really cool little invention from a local company up there. But yeah, we went to that place, man. That was cool. We went to the little mall they have over there in Nashville, which is right by the Opry. And that's when I sent you those pictures. We went in front of the Opry. He was like, we can go in front of it. There's no reason to go up in it. And I was like, I don't want to. But yeah, we got to see the Opry. That was neat, right? I mean, just the history that's involved there. Sure. That was really cool. Had to do it since I was in Nashville, right?
Right.
Then we got to go to some really specialized guitar places. So there's this place that my buddy Zach actually started working at today called Gruen Guitars. And that's when I sent you like those walls of Martin guitars. Yeah. And just insane. Like I couldn't believe what I was looking at, dude. I couldn't believe it.
The prices on some of these guitars are insane.
Yeah, so that was more when we went to Carter's Vintage, which was next, which was really, really cool. Carter's Vintage guitars had like the $250,000 guitar, like a $250,000 guitar, $180,000, $135,000. Like that was all common guitar prices in there.
What makes a guitar worth that?
You're asking a drummer.
Right.
So I am not the guy. I am not that guy. There was something about I asked my buddy. He is a guitar player. He now makes guitars, like I said, for Gruen Guitars, and he went into it, but I could not repeat any of it.
Yeah.
It was a 1950 something Strat or Telly. I don't even. It was a Strat. I think that was $250,000,
Okay.
and I don't know what that means.
It means it's expensive.
I don't know it.
But like, I mean,
I
why do
guess
we want?
okay. So one of the things is that the Fender himself would have been building that guitar.
Okay.
That's one of the things I remember that.
Okay. But I mean, like the pickups, were the pickups better back then, or the pickups better? You would think with technology always improving that the pickups would be better now. But
You would
I
think
mean, there's a lot of I have a
maybe
lot of
there's
questions.
there might be like a tone that's like you can't replicate nowadays. I don't know
Right. Well, that's
with
but you gotta
that type of
be such a guitar nerd to understand that.
exactly. I would not know the difference.
Right.
I'm a drummer. I just
Right.
wouldn't know the difference between you playing this $250,000 guitar from 1950 something and a $200 Squire Strat from the local pawn shop. Like I just
Right.
wouldn't know the difference.
I would.
So I could oogle everything and appreciate everything, but as far as really understanding it, no, I had no idea. But I mean, you're in Music City. You've got all this going on. And so that place, that Carter's Vintage Guitars, where they had all those, that's where like Post Malone goes. That's where all
Yeah.
these really famous guitarists go. Like they had, or artists go, not even necessarily guitarists, but all kinds of artists. They had all these pictures up everywhere, these people shopping there, like, and you're just hanging out. They had these red velvet rope areas where like they only let specific people into, and we just asked, we were like, hey, can we and they're, yeah, sure. So we went back there, and that's where I was taking some of those pictures, like of the high dollar stuff,
Yeah. Well, they might have
because
thought
we
you were somebody. I mean, they don't know.
I mean, my dude was like, Zach was just like, hey, my buddy's in from Atlanta, and
Yeah.
so we went in, and anyway, it was way out of my blood, way too rich for my blood, but it was a lot of fun, whole lot of fun.
Cool. Was he able
Going to
to
all
fix
those
your guitar?
stores. He's got it right now. He's going to take care of it for me. Yep.
Oh, so you got to make another trip.
I got to make another trip.
Yeah.
You're catching on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
We
I
weren't
can't
able to
fix
fix
it
it in
right
a weekend.
now. Yeah.
Weren't able to fix it in a weekend,
Yeah.
But anyway, after all that, we had to start preparing for our evening. We had to start doing Asian things. We went and got some ramen. I've never had fancy ramen before. Have you?
No, Cheyenne's a fan.
Okay. It's not even fair that they call the packaged ramen anymore.
Right? Well, like once you see the real deal, you're like, oh.
That's not even fair.
Right.
Like after eating this at this place, man, it was called Otaku, I think, Otaku Ramen or something like that. Huge shout out to them,
Yeah.
because phenomenal experience. I got a bao bun and some ramen. It was fantastic, dude. I mean, and I started feeling real Japanese, which got me prepared for our sumo event that we went to, dude. It was at the Nashville Fairgrounds, which is where they had the race not that long ago. The
Right.
Speedway was right there. They were running something when we were there.
Yeah, they were probably running their Saturday night show.
Yeah, it was really cool. So it was at the Nashville Fairgrounds. All kinds of stuff has happened there. So it was neat just hanging out there.
They were running the North-South 100 or whatever they call it. It's Bubba was there. Bub Pollard was there racing Saturday night.
No way.
Yeah.
See? Anyway, yeah. So we were at the Nashville Fairgrounds right down from there in this little enclosure, which was awesome. And watched this sumo show. It was called Sumo and Sushi. And it was the first time they had ever brought that show to Nashville. Is some of these sumo wrestlers' first time in America.
Oh, wow.
And they spent a while. It was a really interesting show, man. They spent a while like telling you the rules, or they actually, I'll do it the way they did it. They broke it up into blocks. Block A was stretching. And these big old 400-pound sumo wrestlers were doing splits and leaning all the way forward and touching the ground while doing splits and like showing off the sumo flexibility, all of that, and like what it takes to be a sumo wrestler.
Maybe I should study sumo.
It's not a bad gig, dude. It's not a bad gig. So obviously you have to go to Japan pretty much to compete, I think. Or at least in Japan, there's 6 major tournaments. I know that. That's what they were explaining to me during this show.
You've got to have somebody to spar with.
Right.
You know.
Right. You might need to go to like Hawaii or Samoa or something like that.
Oh, it's big there?
Well, I mean, they're big boys there, right?
That's true. That's true.
The guy who was hosting it was a sumo champion who was part Samoan, I think. Pretty sure. But yeah, it was cool. So the block A was stretching, block B was like showing you some of the techniques or maybe just explaining the rules. I can't remember. And then block C was one of the other. So it was, techniques was one of them and rules was another one. So once you got all that out of the way, then they start having matches.
Okay, cool.
And that's when you can actually appreciate what you're watching at that point. It was odd.
Right.
They run you through all that stuff, which was really cool, giving you some of the history and whatnot. But then it makes you appreciate what you get to watch after that even more.
Do they have walkout music?
Yes. So some of them came out to like "Welcome to the Jungle," all kinds of stuff, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. I will. Okay. I took a short video of one, and I'll put it up for the people to watch while you're watching it. Let me find it really quick. Oh, no, not this one. Here we go. I'm sending it to you right now. Ooh. Because this is awesome. This was just one of them. And it's a short clip of it. But it's like WWE style, dude.
Yeah. I'm waiting. There we go. All right, go.
He was wearing a cowboy hat and everything.
He's not that big a guy.
No. So some of them weren't. Some of them weren't.
I mean, he's big for a Japanese.
Right.
But
right.
He's not.
So there was a couple of them there that were over 400 pounds. And then there was a couple of them there was probably 4 of them that were a good bit smaller. Some of those were because they had cut that weight on purpose. Though.
They do different weight classes.
Yeah. And well, one of them was actually training for MMA. He had entered MMA and he was over 400 pounds at one time and he had shed all the way down to 230 for MMA.
Nice.
So if you can imagine the legs on that guy, they were so big and so muscular. Like his muscles were huge, dude.
Those legs are the size of a small child.
Pretty much. When I was showing Catherine these videos and stuff, she was like, how did you not pay attention to their diapers? And I was like, look, their bare butts are like hanging out right in front of you. And I was like, that's the last thing I was thinking about, honestly. Like watching the amazing show they were putting on. They did a great job, man. I would recommend it to anybody. If Sumo and Sushi is coming to your town, I would recommend it. It's cool.
If it comes to Atlanta, we'll have to check it out.
They called a few people from the crowd to sign waivers and go on stage and go up there and wrestle with them. And so the first 2 guys didn't stand a chance.
Right.
The last guy reminded me of Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
This guy wore eye black to a Sumo and Sushi. He had eye black on already.
You didn't?
So
he was a plant.
And
he was a plant.
He was huge. He reminded me exactly of Ben Roethlisberger. He was huge. And he goes in there, and the first time he knocks the sumo guy, I think, out of bounds or something like that. Or somehow he knocks him off balance, gets him to the ground. I don't remember exactly what it was. But the spectator won the first round. And then they were like, does anybody want to see it again? and of course the crowd wants to see it again, right? And the second round, the sumo put him out in like 2 seconds.
Dude,
Like maybe not even 2 seconds. It was literally he just went on the offensive instead of the defensive.
Right. Well,
And
I mean,
just put the guy away.
it looks like a fun time, but there's some dude in Japan that's going crazy Americans. They think they're going to a sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
They are just going to banana ball.
Yeah. So they sell you on the whole thing like these are retired champions. These are big deals over there. You know what I mean? They sell you on that.
It's still pretty cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with banana ball, but that dude was a plant.
Probably.
He wrestles every week.
He said he was using his good old fashioned American football experience. That's what he said to the announcer.
What if it was Roethlisberger?
Dude, he looked just like him, but his name was not Ben Roethlisberger.
Well,
and I think Big Ben's got to be pretty old by now.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, he's
staying
out of Milledgeville, from what I understand.
Yeah, you better believe he's staying out of Milledgeville. He moved up to Nashville. Him and them woo girls.
Identity.
You never know. But that was so much fun, man. The sumo and sushi was so much fun. We went to a barcade after that. Oh, see, look at my sumo sushi guy.
Fun. Huh?
You see my sumo sushi guy? Look at him.
I like it. I noticed you got more stuff back there today, man.
Yeah, man. I'm rearranging a little bit.
Dude, the barcade looked awesome.
That was a lot of fun. They had an upstairs where they had like more of a like bar games and stuff like that, like the ring on a string, and outdoor Jenga. They had all that kind of stuff, but then inside was all old school arcade. Like I got to play Contra, I got to play Terminator 2 Judgment Day, I got to play Pac-Man, of course, every version of Pac-Man you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, so it was all old school games.
All old school games, nothing new.
Okay, I like
it. It was geared for like probably my age to your age, like a little, like it was geared for our 10-year gap.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like perfectly geared for all of us. It was incredible, man. That was a lot of fun. The barcade was called Up Down, and there's actually more than one of these barcades there, but this one was called Up Down. So big shout out to Up Down. Did
it have a Spy Hunter?
I think so. I think so. I was playing, dude. I got so caught up playing Avengers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I couldn't even tell you, man. You know, like I was just so caught up, dude.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. So huge shout out to Up Down. And then of course I had to go get some Nashville hot chicken after that, right?
It looked good.
Dude.
Was it good?
You know, unbelievable. It was shout out to Hattie B's. That's where we went in Nashville.
So you went to the hot chicken place.
The hot chicken place. There's apparently a couple there, but Hattie B's is one of the best. Yes.
Yeah.
It sat out on the porch in a hot Nashville night and ate hot chicken, dude. Oh man. It was as Nashville as it gets.
You know, you might have been rubbing shoulders with people you didn't even know about.
Oh, for sure. All of these places could have been crawling with people.
Yeah, there's going to be some dude that's famous next year. And he didn't have a gig this weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 So I got that Nashville hot chicken, man. I got some mac and cheese with pimentos in it. Whatever they recommended at Hattie B's, I was like, you guys, I'm here from Atlanta. You guys treat me right. And they did.
That's awesome.
They did, man. Now the next morning, Chuck.
Okay. This is Sunday morning.
It was all of these firsts have happened. Right? Had that Nashville hot chicken the night before, the ramen, all that stuff.
Ramen,
sumo.
Yeah.
It was time for all of that to come out.
Oh, crap.
And it happened.
That was probably...
It was successful.
That was probably an event in itself. The smell.
Well, luckily.
Oh, my gosh. All those mixtures of food.
The Jacks, I had not gone. The Jacks,
So you had one of them deals where you're traveling and you're like your system.
the
what
big
is it?
breakfast. I had a big potato breakfast that they made me.
Yeah. Oh,
And then, so yeah, the Jacks, the breakfast, the ramen, the hot chicken, it was all in there.
it looked like Dumb and Dumber, didn't it? You're just like, oh.
But your boy got to do another first.
Okay.
I used a bidet.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Well, please give us
I
a
used a
review on the bidet.
I got to admit, man, it was a pleasant experience.
Are you getting one
South
now?
Park, I don't know that I'm getting one, but
Okay.
South Park did an episode on this, and I would recommend it for anyone who wants to know about. I think it was season 26. I don't remember exactly. Maybe season 23. I can't remember, but check it out. It's hilarious. It's oddly satisfying,
Okay.
and it makes me question like just the smearing aspect of the toilet paper.
All the big podcasters have bidets.
Well, they were all sponsored by the bidet companies for a while,
talk
right?
about it all the time that they've got bidets.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm traditional. I mean, I have some wonders about it. I mean, I'm not opposed to trying it. I'm just saying.
That's me. I wasn't opposed to trying it. It had been such a trip of firsts. I had the opportunity. Of course, I'm going to try it. Everything I was doing was new. I slept on a Tempur-Pedic mattress for the first time. Everything I was doing was new.
Well, how was the Tempur-Pedic mattress?
Very pleasant.
Okay. Was it the purple one?
I don't think I moved, which is the thing I've heard. That's one of the complaints I've heard is about Tempur-Pedics is if you move. I don't think I moved. I don't think I had to move. I think I was comfortable enough to not move. Yeah. Once I was in it, and I felt great.
Okay. Well.
But yeah. So use the bidet, and you can adjust your water pressure.
Oh. Okay.
So it can be more of a stream, or it can be like a jet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you take you kind of adjust the pressure as it goes. The fancy ones have heater adjustments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want to get it warm.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. The perfect timing to try it too, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to try it, you might as well do it at somebody else's house. That way, if it makes a mess, it's on them.
I had to Google while I was releasing the jacks and all of those things. I had to Google if I was supposed to stay seated or hover.
Oh yeah,
when using.
See, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions. I had to Google that one. That was one I couldn't figure out on my own. I was like, man, should I hover or not hover? The answer is not hover, just so you know.
Yeah, because if you hover, I mean, that could be devastating.
Yes, that could be devastating.
You could blow chunks.
Yeah, man. But let me wrap up this Nashville trip. So that morning, went to Maple Street Biscuit Company, which is a really famous place to eat biscuits. I don't know if I sent you that picture, but I had what they call the 5 and Dine there. And if I didn't send that to you, I got to. Oh yeah, here it is.
Well, last picture I got was that hot chicken.
Okay, there's 5 and Dine, and that's what they call a 5 and Dine. It's a big piece of fried chicken.
Wow. With
bacon, gravy, egg, and all of that on a biscuit.
Yeah, you eat that with a fork, right?
Yeah, I ate that with a fork and knife, buddy. But that lasted me my whole trip home. I was not hungry again.
You probably still ain't hungry.
I ate a little bit when I got home last night. But I did. I had a great time in Nashville, man. Some of the historical places I wanted to mention real quick. I stopped at this place called Old Stone Fort Archaeological Park in Tennessee. and it was like an hour outside of Nashville. I stopped on the way home, and this place has evidence of people dating way back, apparently thousands of years, inhabitants, and it was an old stone fort built by the American Indians, by the ancient Americans that were here.
I wonder
And
why they built a stone fort.
settlers thought it was built by settlers who like happened to be on some exploration or something, but no, they actually, it's tied in with like mounds, some conical mounds and all that. But anyway, they built it right in like the fork of the Duck River up that way, which was really cool. It was like a fortress, and that they had built. Really neat.
That's cool.
Really secure location, right around bluffs and all kinds of stuff. Hard to access, hard to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I checked that place out. So shout out to them. I was going to stop by this place called Russell Cave, but they had their museum closed, so I didn't bother.
Oh.
I drove by. Their museum will be open later in the year, so maybe I'll pick that up with the guitar. But
you gotta save something.
I got to save something. I did stop at DeSoto State Park in Alabama, which I checked out a few of the waterfalls there. It is a difficult drive to get to. It's like my little Honda was roughing it to get up to this place.
Really?
Dude, it was hard. Like I see the cliff next to me getting up to the state park, right? Like I'm driving and the cliff is rough. I see it right next to me.
Yeah.
And I see a sign coming up that says low shoulder. Like, how much freaking lower can the shoulder get? Like,
yeah.
There is no shoulder.
It's like, it's low. It's about 15, 20, 30 feet.
It's about as low as it gets, man. But yeah, when you start seeing those signs like no 18-wheelers and all that stuff, like, you're in for a ride. And
well, at least you was in a narrow car.
Yeah, I was in a tiny car. It was easy to get around the roads. That wasn't too bad. It was just that little 4-cylinder engine didn't know what to do, But anyway, I recommend DeSoto State Park to anybody over in Alabama. It was a beautiful, beautiful location. Lots of waterfalls, lots of caves. If you're into that, you can kind of creep into some cave entrances and stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, I might look at the entrance and be like, "Oh, that looks cool."
Yeah, I know you're not going to go into it, but
no,
and I don't think they want you to go into most of these caves
because I ain't going. Did you check out the
But yeah, man.
No, I didn't.
Got back from Nashville last night, Sunday evening, and huge thank you to Zach and Aaron. That was a fantastic time. They showed me the best side of Nashville, and I loved it. So, yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad you had fun. My weekend was not near as interesting as yours. We decided to buy a new washing machine.
Oh, that was necessary.
Ours ain't that old, but it's a Samsung, and I won't ever buy another Samsung product.
Yeah.
I could probably fix this one. But after all the what you went through fixing yours, I'm like, I'm just going to cut my losses and buy an old school style.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Look, my Maytag is pretty sweet, but I would just recommend anytime you're working on any washer or dryer, just use manufacturer's parts.
Yeah.
Suck it up, spend the extra money, don't buy the cheap stuff.
Well, my problem is I didn't know what parts I needed.
Oh, right.
Because it just wants to get off balance all the time. Like, it would not wash a load of clothes about half full with 3 pairs of jeans in it. It refused.
Whoa.
So what do you need? What part do you need?
Shaken out of its mind, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not educated enough on them.
Right. So I'm gonna put it on like Marketplace. If anybody needs a freaking wash machine, it's not that old. It's a handyman special. And I'm
there you
not
go.
that handy.
Someone will pick it up, right?
Somebody will pick it up for $100. But yeah, so we had that go on. I lost access to my TikTok last night.
What?
So like earlier in the day, I guess they've been doing a rolling verification of your email
Hmm.
and your account. I don't know if they're trying to get rid of bots or whatever.
Maybe.
But I I was scrolling. I watched the video. Got to the end of the video, and it said, um, it pops up and it goes, "Please verify your email." Blah 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 blah. Mary Beth had done it earlier in the day, and well, the email address that I used to start that account, I don't have access to anymore because it was
Oh
an
no.
old Comcast email.
Oh no.
So I had to start over from ground zero.
So you had to get a new TikTok last night.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah,
How was it entering the world of TikTok with a blank slate?
dude, it was weird because it was all freaking Trump videos.
Well,
Of the news that we're going to cover here in a minute, because that was a
yeah.
big part of the weekend. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, I'm like, but I want my dirt racing back, my redneck stuff, my fishing. So I went and found my old account. Like I searched it and I found it, and it's still there. It's still floating around out there. But so I
They
just
have
went
not
through.
deactivated.
It's not deactivated. I just can't get into it.
Hmm.
So I went through and followed all the same people that I followed before. So it's kind of it's working its way back to now how it used to be. But still, it's like, man, this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Um, because I had just saved a
They're
video.
slowly but sure there.
Yeah, I had saved a video that I was going to show you. That was about ancient technology, pre-flood technology.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, but I found it. I can get back to it. I know how to get back to it. So it's
Oh,
not.
praise God.
Yeah, you're gonna like this one. But yeah, that and Trump getting shot was that's pretty much my weekend. So let's break that down. Trump freaking got shot, dude.
Trump got shot. Yes.
Trump. So I am in the swimming pool. I got ribs on the trigger, so I got my phone close so I can keep up with my trigger. And
Right?
I get a text message, and it's one of my buddies is like, "I'm out here cutting grass. My son just come out here and said Trump got shot." And I'm like, "What? Do you know?" That was a weird feeling, like getting that information because you're like, "No, Trump didn't get shot. That's some fake news." Blah 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 blah. It's kind of like when you first heard about the Twin Towers. You know,
Yes.
when that happened, you're like, "No, that didn't happen. That's some kind of." So anyway, I get on the old Googler and start googling, and the first thing I found, it says Trump falls. CNN's like Trump falls on stage. Because they're trying to spin it.
What?
Yeah, yeah. The first couple
Trump
articles
falls on stage?
yeah, Trump falls on stage. They're spinning it right from the get go. They're spinning. They're putting that. Oh, look, he's feeble.
Get out of here.
There's many people that have screenshotted that because they knew it would go away. So it's still out there that Trump falls on stage according to CNN. But as you find out, Trump freaking got shot, dude. And I sent
Trump
you a
got
text. I was like, "Hey, man," because you don't know what's about to go down.
Sure.
So I sent you a text. It's like, "Stay frosty. Trump got shot."
Yeah, I was at the sumo and sushi event at that time.
You're probably
So
looking at
like,
it like, "What the heck?"
well, so like I get this notification on my phone that what's his name? What's his name? Richard Simmons?
Yeah,
That Richard Simmons died.
Yeah,
And I get all bummed out. And so like I look over at my buddy and I'm like, "Dang it, dude, Richard Simmons died." And he's
Yeah.
like, "No way." While we're watching sumo wrestling, we're just like bummed out about Richard Simmons for a second.
Yeah.
And then I get another notification. It's like attempted assassination on President Trump. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh crap.
This is getting real quick.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they done
I
took
went
out
from
Richard
sad to
Simmons,
like,
and now they're
oh
trying to
my
take out
God.
Trump. So it got me thinking. And look, if you wanna dive into everything that went wrong as to what led up to Trump getting shot, the
Yeah.
Drinking Bros podcast, they dropped one last night, and it was an emergency podcast. They never do things like this, but it's episode 1376. They break down the assassination attempt with Tim Kennedy and Rob O'Neill, which are some very highly qualified shooters.
Sure.
So if you wanna deep dive into what went wrong security wise, those guys they're on it. They know what's going on. They got it figured out.
Sure. I mean, they have a lot of experience with protection and things like that, right?
Yeah. But let's look at the things. Let's talk about this. What all has Trump? All right. So they tried the hookers. They said hookers peed on the bed. He had Russian hookers pee on the bed. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that
Right.
story.
So that turned out not to work.
Right.
They tried the Russian collusion. That didn't work.
That didn't work either.
They tried Stormy Daniels. That really hadn't worked for them like they think it is. They've tried all these things, and now they shot him, and that still didn't work. The dude happened. Have you seen the video where, like, okay, right here is a headshot and he's dead. Right
January
here.
6th, by the way.
Oh yeah, January 6th. But have you seen that diagram? There's a diagram out there that shows the trajectory of the bullet, and had his head stayed turned, it would have went in and through the brain and be dead.
No way.
But since he happened to turn his head just a little bit, it nicked his ear.
That's freaky, dude.
Yeah, and there's also a picture going around that one bullet might have got his vest. Because
really?
There's a hole in his jacket.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he wear vests? Does he wear a bulletproof vest? All
I'm
those
pretty
things?
sure they have to in events like that.
Interesting. Interesting.
Now, he got back up, and a lot of people keep saying Teddy Roosevelt style,
Yeah.
gave the fist. But now Teddy would have finished the speech, but
Teddy would finish the speech.
I think Trump probably would have if they'd let him.
Yeah, there's no way he would be allowed to. That
Right.
photograph alone of him coming off the stage, if we thought which I kind of did, I thought the mugshot was going to win him the election.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really thought that mugshot alone was like ammo that should be plastered everywhere.
Right.
Use this as ammo because people will start to understand, they'll start to get the picture. If that wasn't enough, this
Right.
photo of him with the blood on his face, holding his fist up in defiance, chanting USA or whatever was going on,
Yeah.
like that will win him the election.
That will.
That photograph alone, huge shout out to that photographer because that is a perfect photograph.
Yeah, and he wanted his shoes. He's like, "Let me get my shoes."
Okay, question. What kind of shoes were those?
I don't know, but you can tell a lot by a man's shoes. And he wanted those, so those were good shoes.
He had to have them. There wasn't. They kept saying, "Let's move, let's move," and he wouldn't move without
He's
them
like,
shoes.
I want my shoes. He didn't want to scuff up his feet.
That's what my wife was saying. She was like, "No, he just didn't want to walk barefoot." I'm like, "No, those were probably $1 million shoes he was leaving there. He ain't gonna leave them shoes."
Yeah. Yeah, somebody would steal them things. They'd be like fighting over the shoes. There's the shoes, get them.
But if they're $1 million
keep
shoes,
Yeah.
how do they come off his feet so easy?
Dude, you get shot, man. Things happen.
Even shot in the ear, you'll come out your shoes.
I mean, you see people lose their shoes all the time when they get hit by a car. So I'm assuming you get shot, you're probably going to lose your shoes too. I guess you can shrink up. I don't know.
Oh my God. We got to find some sort of humor in it, right? Like, what kind of shoes were those, man?
Yes, we need to research the shoes. I'm glad he's okay because I don't think the country was ready for that if he had not been.
No, no. And this is a good time. I think let's go ahead. Let's put our tinfoil hats on here.
Okay.
I'm flipping it around backwards.
Yeah, let's just go ahead. Let's just roll right into conspiracy corner because we're
Yep.
already a freaking hour into this.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Supposedly, the kid is in a BlackRock commercial.
In a BlackRock commercial?
Yes. It was filmed at their school because they were talking their school uses BlackRock for the teachers' retirement,
Okay.
and this kid is in that commercial.
Okay.
Yep.
What say you?
Dude, that's weird. There's always a weird connection on stuff like this, right? I mean,
Sure.
we don't want to go down Alex Jones. Shut up, man. We don't want to go down his route today, but
Are you sure?
imagine. Have you seen the movie Shooter?
Yeah.
Okay, we've all seen the movie Shooter.
Yep.
All right. So,
Fantastic Mark Wahlberg.
have you heard about the cop that climbed up to the top of the ladder on the building? Have you heard about
Yes.
that? And he's
Yes.
like, "Oh no, I can't shoot." Why was that cop there? Because in the movie Shooter, there's a freaking cop. They bring in a local cop that's about to retire so he can get his freaking hero. He can retire a hero.
And this cop refuses to be the hero.
I think that cop is going to end up dead because he didn't act how they wanted him to act. So that cop will be dead within a week. This has got CIA wrote all over it. I sent you that meme. It says, "Why would you have FBI and CIA on the same, or Secret Service and CIA on the same roof?" You
Sure.
know,
And you know
everything
what?
that you, huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, they clearly left that roof unattended.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it because that roof is close, high, and we've got
120 yards, perfect shot.
easy shot.
Not the
Spot
best
shot.
angle. Not the
Yeah.
best angle. But 120 yards is a doable shot for anyone with a little bit of experience with a rifle. I wouldn't do good because I don't practice. I've not shot a rifle at 120 yards in forever.
Right.
I might not be able to make that shot, but anyone who went through a box of ammo could probably make that shot.
Yeah. The shots did sound suppressed,
Mm-hmm.
but that could have been the distance and the angle of the camera, mics and stuff like that.
Sure. Sound picks up funny, especially in wide open places like that
Wide
with
open places.
round buildings.
Yeah, and microphones don't always give you the correct sound when it comes to a bullet.
Absolutely not.
What you hear on TV when you hear bullets
Mm-hmm.
in a war movie, that's not what the bullet would sound like if you just picked that up with a microphone. That's the sound effects guys
Right.
doing work.
Microphones have compressors and all that stuff
Yeah.
already kind of built into them, especially modern day stuff. So yeah,
So
it's
they
just
have
not the same.
They have to trick the microphone. They have to use another sound to trick the microphone to give it a more realistic bullet sound.
Sure. Yeah. But
the Secret Service, there was a Secret Service sniper that had the guy with, this is what they're saying. You know, it's early, stuff's liable to change.
Mhm.
But there's a Secret Service guy that supposedly had the shooter in his sights for 3 minutes and they would not give him clearance to shoot him.
what?
Yeah. He's come out and said that.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah. I think he
He's
went ahead
either-
and he ended up he was in the one that ended up shooting him anyway, but they
wouldn't give him clearance until after he shot.
Right.
Well, I watched the video of those people who were sitting in the lawn chairs and all that, like right by that building, and they're like, "Hey, there's a guy up on that roof."
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is well before he's taken the shot. Like the guy's still moving around trying to look for his shot on the roof, I guess.
Yeah.
And these people are just taking a video of him like, what? This doesn't look right. Like, look at what? It looks like he's got a gun.
Right.
Like, Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, they're look, it's classic. All right, so you try the spearmint campaign, that didn't work. You try to imprison them. Well, our justice system evidently is working pretty good because they can't just lock him up and throw away the key and just forget about him.
Right. And he had some charges dismissed today, by the way.
Did he? I haven't. Been,
Yeah, something about the classified documents charges or something like that.
Okay.
They were thrown out.
Yeah, I imagine after this happened, there's probably going to be a lot of stuff get thrown away
Mm-hmm.
because
Which is probably partially why they need, partially why, if it was our government,
Yeah.
behind it, this is part of why they would do it. They needed to do some other things and they got to
Yeah.
have a distraction.
Right.
Even if it was a thwarted assassination attempt, even if that kid didn't get any shots off,
Yeah.
the misdirection, the attention being on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, while you're doing other stuff. And then you got Biden. It's like, well, did you see the Biden speech from last night where he almost said "Make America Great Again"?
No, I saw him call him former Trump.
Former Trump, and then after that he goes, "We've got to make America." And then he almost said, "We got to make America great again." He almost gave him his freaking tagline.
Now, what I watched of that speech, Biden was so focused on the teleprompter, it's almost like they threatened him, like, do not take your eyes off of this.
Right. So if you listen to that Drinking Bros podcast that I was telling you about, they start recording about 10 minutes before the speech starts.
Uh-huh.
Then they watch the speech and then they come in after it.
Oh, cool. So that'll be a good listen for me tonight.
It's great. I'm about halfway through it. I haven't finished it yet because I didn't realize it had dropped till like I was on my way home last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, look, dude, I think the CIA was behind the JFK assassination. Okay.
no doubt, RFK, all of them.
Yep.
Freaking
So would I put it past the CIA to be behind this one? I've said a dozen times I don't like to talk about it on the podcast, but I think we have at this point. The three-letter agencies that are running this country are out of control.
yeah. And Trump's one of the ones that's saying that they've got to be reined in. So who do they want? Well, they don't want to give up their power.
No.
I mean, we're in a very, very scary spot in America right now as far as what. And I'm not talking about the left versus right stuff.
Sure.
And I'm not that worried about it because, I mean, at the end of the day, none of it matters compared to, the big game. You know what I mean? So nothing that happens on Earth matters.
Right.
Really, like big political things and big world wars. I mean, but it's the end of the day, there's one dude in charge, and everybody's against him.
Right.
So, I don't like it when people put Trump or anybody on such a hot. Well, he's the chosen one, and all. I don't like any of that stuff. But anyway,
No. I certainly don't think Donald Trump is our great white hope, right?
Right.
And what I find crazy is that the FBI is now in charge of the investigation. Does anybody remember the FBI hates Trump? He fired the director of the FBI while he was in office. That never happens.
The same FBI that figured out the Vegas shooting?
Yeah.
Is it that FBI? I'm just trying to make sure.
Yep, that one that can be trusted.
Yeah. But anyway, and it's the left for the right versus right thing is not nearly as complicated as the fact that the deep state and people's like, oh, the deep state, that's tinfoil hat. No, dude, the deep state is it's pretty obvious that it's been doing things for a while.
For sure. There's influences, man. And these three-letter agencies are not elected officials. They have way too much power. And all of them, the CIA, the FBI, the DEA, the FDA.
Yeah.
Who do you want to call out? Like all of them have way too much power.
Right. And thanks to the overturning of the Chevron laws, that's probably going to go away. I mean, there's steps being made, but you know, you can follow this deep state stuff. If you keep following it, you can go follow it all the way back to the Civil War.
Sure, absolutely.
Um, that's where you really start looking at stuff and going, wait a minute, is that, you know, is that really? And that's when you get to looking at some of the documents of the southern side. Yes, slavery was part of it, but a lot of it was, hey, there's this group of people just trying to take over the country,
Yeah.
and that's why a guy that didn't have any slaves would pick up his guns and go fight
Hmm.
because he was fighting that the principle. They thought they were fighting a second revolution,
Sure.
you know. So
Sure.
I mean, it's tough, dude. But are you ready for a meme?
Yeah, man. I hope it lightens things up a little bit.
Oh, it does. But it ties it all together.
Oh, sweet. Let me see it.
There you go. There's your meme of the week.
Oh, yes, dude. Yeah.
Now, I know we just sat here and said Trump wasn't the chosen one. He's not the one. As you know, as far as like people want to be like, he's the one. He's the one in the prophecy. No, but
Well, Neo always said he wasn't the one either.
yeah, Theo said he wasn't the one. Neo. I
Neo.
mean,
Neo. Come on now.
Theo is the one.
Theo Vaughn might be the one. We just don't know it.
Yeah, what is Theo Vaughn's the Antichrist? We don't know. He's stupid. He's
Don't you put that hate on him. Don't you put that hate on him.
all right. So you're gonna show these people this meme.
I am. I'll describe it for our listeners. It is Donald Trump's face photoshopped onto Neo's body, the classic of the Matrix 1, when Keanu Reeves is flying backwards and the slow-mo bullets with the spiral trail and everything. And as the bullets are just flying by him. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. It's a great meme, dude. Thank you so much. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
That's a
and
great way to cap off the show, man.
There's one other thing I'm trying to find before we.
Okay.
So, 50 Cent come out Saturday night in his concert,
Uh-huh.
and you know his Mini Men. You know,
Yeah.
that was
Wished
that
at the
was his
palm.
album cover and all that.
Yep.
Well, when he performed that song, this was his background.
Oh, dude. That's so awesome.
Right?
So we got now. I wonder if that's 50 actually displaying his support of Trump or just like shouting him out, like, yo, dude, good on you for surviving.
I think
You know
it
what I
could
mean?
be a little bit of both. It's a wild time we live in.
Wild times we live in, Chuck. I'm so glad we can have this podcast and just joke around about it, dude.
You know, shout out to a dude named Corey. I'm not even going to try to say his last name.
Okay.
But there's a dude named Corey that was at the rally, and he was killed by that dude on the roof.
Yeah, I heard about that, man. He was protecting his family, if is what was being reported.
He was a firefighter. One of the local racetracks up there, he was evidently heavily affiliated with in the. He would be there doing the 50-50 raffle and all that stuff.
Mm,
So,
dang,
yeah.
it's really sad. That's really, really sad.
But I mean, man, you're just trying to attend a rally,
Right?
and then, you know, you never know
Yeah.
when it's going to be your last.
You don't, man. R.I.P. to Richard Simmons as well, and
Richard
Shannon
Simmons.
Doherty.
Is that the one that was from 90210?
Yes.
Okay, and then Dr. Ruth.
What?
We lost Dr. Ruth over the weekend, which That woman's been old my whole life.
Well, R.I.P. to her, man.
Yeah.
Chucker, thanks for a good show. This has been a good one, man. Nashville was a blast. Shout out to Zach and Aaron. Thank you guys for showing me such a good time in Nashville. Shout out to the Eating Chambers YouTube channel as well.
Go check them out.
Check them out.
Send me a TikTok.
Yeah, everybody send Chuck some TikToks, man. He needs to get back in the algorithm.
Yep. We'll see y'all.
Thanks for listening, everybody.